Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Summer's a great time to get outdoors and enjoy some camping, and I've opened up my Granny Camp, which is my Alaska off-grid cabin, for another season. I thought it would be a great time to review the 10 essential items you need if you're going on a camp out. Whether you're going to a cabin or you're just going to a campground, there are certain things that you need to make sure that you bring along so that your camp out is successful. The first item is a sleeping bag. Make sure you get one rated to the coldest nights where you're going to be. We spend times out of doors during the daylight hours and it's warm, and we forget that most places we go camping, as soon as the sun goes down, the temperature drops, and along 2 o'clock in the morning, it's freezing cold until long after the sun comes up again. I remember as a child, the coldest I ever was camping, waking up in the middle of the night and being freezing cold. Make sure that you take extra precautions. Make sure that your children have adequate sleeping bags as well so that they don't get cold in the night. If you're not going to a cabin, you'd probably need a tent. Get one that you know how to set it up, that's big enough for the group that you have. Maybe you'll need a ground cover to go under it. Make sure you practice setting it up long before you go to camp. There's nothing worse than you arrive at camp, it's late, it might even be dark, and you pull your new tent out and no one knows how to put it together. I've seen families doing that in campgrounds, and at 10 o'clock at night the tent was still not put up. The kids were crying and tired, and the parents were not enjoying their time. So check it out. Make sure you know how to set it up before you go to your camp out. Next, make sure you bring a sturdy water container. We need fresh drinking water, water for washing our hands, washing our dishes, preparing the food. Get some sturdy 2, 3, 4, 5-gallon containers. Just remember, water weighs over 8 pounds per gallon, and so for every gallon that you have, make sure you have the strength to move that container around. So instead of maybe one 5 or 6 gallon container, you'd rather have 2 or 3 2-gallon containers. If you don't have a sturdy water container, go down to the supermarket, pick up the 1-gallon jugs of water that are already ready to go. They're sturdy containers, they're long lasting, and they'll be exactly what you need when you get out on your camp out. No camp out is complete without a campfire. Make sure that you have some fire starters, some matches, lighters, and the kindling, the things that you're going to need to get your campfire started. There isn't always kindling or things like that available where you're camping, and so you may want to get some commercial fire starters so that you can light whatever logs you maybe pick up at the campground office or store. Put together a first aid kit or buy one ready-made. Make sure that you bring it along. Have one that's designed to store and keep with your camping gear. So if you have the opportunity to go camping, you've grabbed your sleeping bag and your tent, but your first aid kit is there as well so that you're ready for whatever adventure you're heading out on. It gets dark when we're camping. Make sure you bring some flashlights, some lanterns, glow sticks. It's a great idea to make sure everyone in your group has a simple flashlight. They know how to turn it off and on, and make sure you have additional batteries in case it accidentally gets left on overnight. It always gets cold when you're camping. Bring layers of warm clothes. You can always take layers off, but if you don't have them, you can't put them on to get warm. Bring a jacket. Make sure everyone has long sleeves, long pants, warm socks, maybe gloves and a hat, and some sturdy shoes to keep your feet safe if you're hiking around. You're not getting poked and stickered by things in the woods. Put together a camp cook set. You'll need some kind of a stove, some dishes, pots and pans, maybe the fuel that goes with your stove, and a way to light it. I like to clean my dishes with a 3-basin system. I'll put a link to the video I made about easy ways to wash dishes while you're camping. Then don't forget your food. Make a meal plan before you leave. Plan out breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Nothing needs to be complicated. Plan out things as simple as cereal and milk, muffins you brought from the store, sandwiches made with lunch meat, foil packet meals that you can cook on the grill or in your campfire. Foil packets are the most enjoyable way to cook when you go camping because you basically put each person's meal into the foil packet, roll it up, set it in the campfire, and it's ready. You have your servings already there, and then there's basically no cleanup. The most important tip before you head out on a campground is to check over your gear, whether it's the first time you've been out using it or you used it last summer and you think you know how. Make sure you check your gear. Don't just grab it and go. For an example, unroll and check your sleeping bag. Here's an example of what I found when I came back out to granny camp. I had most of my sleeping bags and bedding in a metal trash can, but one of the sleeping bags didn't fit. And when I opened it up, when I got back out here, you can see somebody had an enjoyable time in this sleeping bag during the winter months. You don't want to arrive at your camp and realize that's the only sleeping system that you have. Light your stove before you get there. Maybe your stove worked fine last year, but this year it just won't light. Maybe the pump won't stay up, or you don't have the proper amount of fuel. And so if you check that out before you leave, you have avoided causing an emergency situation. So take a quick checklist of the inventory of your essential camping gear. Make sure you put all of it together so that when you arrive at camp, nothing has been forgotten. And then enjoy your time in the out of doors. Make the best of it. Keep things clean. Bring some plastic garbage bags. Fill them up with any trash and any that somebody else has left around. We should always leave a campground cleaner than when we arrived. Camping is a lot of fun. You just need to dive in and do it. Try it for a day if you're worried about it might be too hard. Then work up to 2 days, and before you know it, you may be wanting to spend your whole summer outside too. Learn more at alaskagranny.com. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.